there is this report that JD Vance could be dropping out. Now, analysts, they spoke about this regarding JD Vance, the current state of politics, and broader media critiques. That's what they discussed about this whole situation surrounding JD Vance. So the critics, they argued and discussed rumors that JD Vance is considering, quote unquote, abandoning plans to run for president in 2028 due to low popularity. They argue, these people, these analysts, they argue that he is being controlled by his pimps, quote unquote, wealthy figures like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, and that Donald Trump is actively undermining his standing. I have mentioned one particular incident, how Donald Trump is doing that, how he is undermining JD Vance's credibility, how he is sidelining him, how he is snubbing him. And that was when Donald Trump sent the delegation to Pakistan to negotiate with Iran. JD Vance was completely sidelined, not by US officials, but by Donald Trump himself. The analysts criticized JD Vance for attending a private dinner hosted by Chief Justice John Roberts, as we know. They highlight, the analysts, broader concerns regarding conflicts of interest involving Supreme Court justices, their spouses, and corporate influence. Donald Trump, in public, in front of camera, he said, "You, JD, talk too much. You are the one making a lot of these decisions without letting me know, without my approval." And what kind of decision, we do not know. He did not clarify. Donald Trump did not elaborate on that, but he just called him out right in front of the cameras. And JD Vance was like, yeah, absolutely humiliated. Now, analysts point out that Donald Trump continues to publicly humiliate Vance by tasking him with a fraud task force, quote unquote, fraud task force meeting, which Democratic attorneys general have refused to attend. Now, I want to actually play this part of the video so that you can hear for yourself a little bit.
I have the most disappointing news ever. JD Vance has been told that he is unpopular, and it is being rumored that he is not going to run in 2028. This disappoints me very much because I very much wanted him to run. I very much wanted him to be the focal point, the 3-time name change, the 3-time religious change, him like really sissy-like running in Disneyland after his kids. I wanted all the couch fucking. I wanted the eyeliner jokes. I wanted all of it. I wanted the oligarchs every single day to say, this is the prostitute you purchased, and this is how unelectable this guy is. Pop this up. The AF Post reports, on the heels of Gabbard's resignation, VP JD Vance is considering abandoning plans to run for president in 2028, according to the Daily Mail. Angie.
I also read probably 3 or 4 months ago that he was considering not running because of the new baby. And what I have to say of all of this, the only way he doesn't run after he has prostituted himself, after he has eaten his own words, after he has schlepped for Trump and sucked his dick for all this time, is if the oligarchs say, you're not popular enough to run. We won't give you the money. I don't think he has any type of self-examination ability to say, this is not my time.
Okay, so yeah, of course, the part where it says that he might not be running for office is something that we will still have to wait and see, because there is no confirmation. It's just reported on Daily Mail, but the possibility is very, very much likely. We have another report by another analyst, and they're saying that growing rumors in Washington, D.C. regarding the relationship between Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. To the analysts, they have discussed speculation that Trump is actively attempting to pressure Vance to resign, as a president cannot legally fire a vice president. We know that. Donald Trump is now telling and pushing JD Vance away from his circle every day, a little bit every day, and sending him a message that, hey, Vance, come on, just leave. The leak, quote-unquote, narrative. There is a speculation that a cancelled Camp David cabinet meeting may have been a honeypot trap set to identify leakers, with some theories suggesting Vance was the target. Isolation and diminished influence. Critics say with the resignation of Tulsi Gabbard, Vance is portrayed as increasingly isolated within the administration. The video, or the analysts who posted this video, they suggested that Marco Rubio is gaining significant influence on foreign policy, further sidelining Vance. Marco Rubio is actually getting a lot of floor. He's getting a lot of talk time, mic time these days. Reports suggest Vance is weighing whether to step back from a 2028 presidential bid to avoid being tied to the current administration's unpopular policies. We know everything Donald Trump has done so far is a big disaster. And when we talk about a disaster, Trump, by the way, guys, he said about J.D. Vance that he's a big disaster, okay, behind closed doors. Not in public, but this is what he said to the GOP Republicans. Now, current administration unpopular policy, though critics argue sitting out would be a strategic error, Trump has publicly drawn comparisons to fictional figures like Elliot Ness, while highlighting his own more aggressive, loud approach to policy, which contrasts with Vance's more restrained, non-interventionist brand. And, you know, the main problem, or one of the main problems that Trump is facing in terms of J.D. Vance is the fact that J.D. Vance doesn't approve, he doesn't want United States military to get involved in Iran. He was against it day one. That's why Trump obviously doesn't like him, because as we know, Trump wants to be surrounded by yes men. He doesn't want to be surrounded with people who will oppose his views. Marco Rubio, Pete Heck said these puppets, they're doing a very good job, not so much for J.D. Vance. Take a listen.
That leak. Trump looking for ways to force Vance resignation. Vance supposedly caught leaking info only he would have known. That's what's so interesting to me about the Camp David story. Now, I want to point out the reason why Donald Trump is trying to force J.D. Vance out is because the president cannot fire the vice president because both are independently elected officials who serve concurrent 4-year terms. J.D. Vance is the only person who Donald Trump cannot fire. In one way, J.D. Vance may be the most powerful person in government because Donald Trump cannot decide whether or not he gets to stay. But Donald Trump can make his life hell, and it appears Donald Trump is content on doing just that. Now, the only ways you can get rid of a vice president, I didn't know this. I feel like I just tell you because I didn't know. Maybe you didn't know. Impeachment. The only way you can involuntarily remove a sitting vice president before their term ends is through the constitutional impeachment process by Congress. This requires the House of Representatives to approve articles of impeachment, followed by a trial and conviction by a 2/3 majority in the Senate. Or
also, you have to understand, guys, a lot of people are calling out Donald Trump for his dementia, and they're saying that we need to invoke 25th Amendment and replace Trump with J.D. Vance. That is something also Donald Trump, I'm pretty sure, came to know from social media, and I think it also made into the mainstream media, where people are calling for the 25th Amendment to be invoked against Trump. So I think Trump is aware of that. Maybe, just maybe, J.D. Vance's popularity is more than Donald Trump's popularity, and Trump is not liking it. He's absolutely livid about all of these things are unfolding, and therefore it is time for him, for Donald Trump, to make, as this reporter said, Keith Edward, to make the life of J.D. Vance living hell. That's pretty much where it is heading at the moment. I hope that J.D. Vance will realize and just get out of this Trump administration, because if he wants to have any hope in getting elected or running for the office and winning it, then he should distance himself from Trump's policies, which are absolute disaster. Subscribe for more videos.